Oh, I didn't see you there. I'm watching TikTok. Sorry. Today's social media madness here on everything we know about retail. And I was just trying to do some research. I thought I'd just about finished watching TikTok, but I think there's still a little left to go. So I'll pick that up later. So today we're talking TikTok at the mall. We're talking about the growth of retail social commerce, and we're going to visit a virtual art gallery. All of that plus the retail challenge right now on everything we know about retail. Hey, my name is James Cook, and Iberi Anakute is here coming from New York. I'm coming to you from Indiana. What's happening, Iberi?
Not much, James. How are you doing?
Good, good. I am dry. You're in New York. You've had some rain.
Yeah, a little bit of rain. Thankfully, I'm okay. Everyone I know is okay, but definitely some unprecedented rain we've seen here. So hopefully, there's not too much damage.
All right. Well, it's good to hear that you're safe. Welcome, everybody, to Everything We Know About Retail. This is the show where we tell all of you everything we know about retail, but we do it three things at a time. So let's get into it. Iberi, what do you know?
Well, James, here is the first thing that we know about retail. So I know I'm probably not the only person, James. I don't know about you, but I remember when the last Instagram update came around and they reconfigured the entire home screen, right? So as opposed to the likes being at the bottom with the profile and the home button, they moved the likes to the top, moved everything around, and it was to make space for Reels, which I think we'll talk a little bit more about later, and also for the Instagram shopping button, right? Which I always knew was a feature, but never truly knew where to find it. And so they helped me out and put it right in the middle, right in the center of the home screen. James, have you ever bought anything on Instagram? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought a couple of things. Some T-shirts. Something else for my wife. I forget. The thing is, Instagram so perfectly hones in on your aesthetic that if it puts something in there, I'm much more likely to buy it. Yeah, I've bought a couple of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say whatever algorithm they're using to tailor the ads to us is too sophisticated, because I agree. Every ad that I see is something that I want to wear or would wear, right? So I mean, I think that all kind of contributes to this first story, which is that according to eMarketer, retail social commerce is forecasted to reach $80 billion by 2025, right? Which sounds like a far off time in the future, but is actually just 4 years away, right? We're almost done with 2021, so it's actually 3 and some change, right? This is already a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? Earning almost 27 billion in 2020, and I have a nice graph to show. So why don't I show that?
Nice.
Or here we go. Yeah, this is from eMarketer showing the forecast of retail social commerce, and they make it a point to clarify that this is for this is not like any sort of halo effect or like have something like having a brand with really good social media leads to increased sales on their website, right? This is specifically for ads or shopping through Instagram or through Facebook Marketplace or through Pinterest or through TikTok that takes you directly to the brand's page where you're able to buy things from the brand directly. So a very specific type of commerce, but definitely something that's becoming more popular. According to eMarketer, also this is most common amongst Gen Z, which I think a lot of us maybe could predict, but also not really, because I'm not Gen Z. I don't think you are either, and we both are on Instagram shopping for our lives because they're targeting those ads directly to us. According to eMarketer, half of U.S. social media users between the age of 18 to 24 made a purchase through a social channel last year. So that obviously, if you ask me, half seems low. And I imagine that if it's half, it's because either the kids in that age bracket half of them don't have any money, right? So that's why they have any purchases, or they don't have a credit card or a debit card, so they weren't able to purchase something through Instagram app. But I think if they had the capability, it would be closer to, I don't know, 70-80% of people in that age range. But it's actually funny because it's not the US is not the most popular country for this, right? Apparently Russia and China have 51.5 and 49.5% respectively of their social media users in the same age range that have made a purchase through social channels. So that, I think that definitely has a lot to do with the growth that we're going to see. We're trying to remain competitive with, what we're seeing in other countries throughout the world. And like I said to you, I've definitely purchased stuff through Instagram ads. I feel like nowadays every other post on my feed is a shirt like this, right? It's some sort of shirt like this. And I already own a lot, right? But
Right.
it's stripes or it's a color block or it's some sort of variation that I have not seen yet. So I think it makes perfect sense that it's going to grow. I mean, forecasted to triple in the next 4 years, right? And I don't know if you know about something called shopping halls. Have you heard about those, James?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has a lot to do with it as well, because I've really gotten into those recently too, and seeing what these different influencers are buying from, all these other, brands, whether it's ASOS or, name another one, J. Crew.
There you go.
Blank. I feel like, they always tag all the clothes that they buy at the bottom. And I've definitely clicked a couple of those links and gone and bought stuff through there. So definitely a phenomenon that we're going to see a lot more going forward. And very interesting when you think about, I'm curious to see how this, in a couple years, researchers like us will be able to dissect what percentage of overall e-commerce sales came directly from social channels, and if that's going to be, a major factor going forward. So very cool development. Can't wait to see, more about that. And maybe, ideally Instagram will remove that shopping tab from the center, go back to the last home screen and make things easier for all of us, because I feel like, that was just such an unnecessary change that they made, but it makes perfect sense. But so that's the first thing we know about retail. James, tell me, what else do you know about retail?
Oh my gosh. Now it's time for the second thing we know about retail, and it's time to talk about TikTok at the mall. So we're being joined by two guests today, Ashlyn Booth and Liz Glosson. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hey guys.
Thank you. Hi.
Hey, so Ashlyn is the director of property marketing for retail at JLL, and Liz is with the Dealey Group. They're a marketing and advertising company. And Liz, you work solely on JLL properties, right?
Yes, have been since 2007. So, and Ashlyn and I have been lucky enough to work together for, I think, a decade now. So, long time.
Wow. That's awesome. So you guys have been, you've been doing social media for properties, for retail properties for years. These properties have their own accounts. It seems like they have their own personalities. I wanted to get you on to talk specifically about TikTok, but we can also talk about Instagram. What should a social media plan for a shopping center look like when you're talking about video? What are you doing there?
Yeah, it's a great question, James. And I think, at JLL, we've really been an early adopter of social media. Believe it or not, we actually launched on Instagram in 2012. So where most people think, Instagram has been in the last 4 to 5 years, we have had a presence on Instagram for a really long time. In 2015, we dipped our toe into Snapchat. Just to test out that platform. And I know we're going to get into TikTok in a minute, but now we're in TikTok. And I think as a marketer, the bottom line is you want to be where the consumers are. You want to connect with them in the channels and the way that they are receiving information. And so social is where we have to be. Barry was just talking about social shopping. I mean, our shoppers, that's where they are. So every year when we're putting campaigns and promotions together, we are looking at where is our consumer and how are they digesting that information so that we can make sure that we're playing in that same space. It's critical to our marketing strategy. When I started in the shopping center industry, I won't give you the year, but when I started in the shopping center industry, it was about newsprint ads and radio spots and television spots. And it was about that because that's where people got their news and information. And over the years, it's completely shifted. We rarely are in those traditional channels today. We are in the social channels because that's where people are getting their news and information.
And I think it's really interesting, something that we kind of looked at before even deciding to test on TikTok is, yes, it is still relatively new, but right now, the daily active users on TikTok are actually higher than Twitter, Snapchat, and Pinterest. And so for us, it was like, wow, okay, we're higher than Twitter. And, our shopping centers do have representation on Twitter. So we felt like that back to school was just kind of the perfect timing to get TikTok into our social media mix.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok, first off, for me, I think why it's so addictive is it's a waterfall of video all tailored perfectly to you. So it's like kind of like never ending, which is good and bad. But let's I wanted to pull up some videos here as we talk. So you did a series of videos on TikTok around back to school. Tell me about the production for these. What does it take to put something like these together?
Yeah, that is a great question, James. So, as probably most people listening know, JLL represents what now, Ashlyn, over 60 properties that we're producing content for. So that is something that our team and working with Ashlyn and her team spend a lot of time thinking about, because we have properties all over the United States that we're having to produce what we call shared content for. We have outdoor properties, we have indoor properties. The retailer lineups are different amongst our properties. So what we really try and do for our TikTok content as well as our Instagram Reels is we are representing trends rather than retailers, and it's trends that you could find at your local shopping center. So as you see here, this TikTok that you're looking at was actually about, okay, last year so many people were doing virtual school, and this year is actually going back to school. So we were showing going from slippers to sneakers. But it's really great content. We try and take this shared approach that's really about focusing on trends. The other thing that we do is we are taping all of our Reels and TikTok here locally in Dallas, since that's where our content producers are. So we're going into local shopping centers here, but when you look at the Reels or the TikToks, you would have no idea that it's in Dallas. You would actually associate and think, hey, that's a retailer in my market, because of how our content strategists are cutting it. So it's all about taking the right cuts and really thinking through the content in advance to the shoot. That's something that I'd really recommend to anybody that's planning out their TikTok content or Instagram Reels content, thinking through what you're wanting to shoot in advance. We spend a half day at least thinking through that before we go out and shoot, and that really saves time and makes all the transitions and cuts flow together so nicely.
The folks that produce the video, I imagine you really have to be totally immersed in sort of the TikTok culture in order to make sure you're not coming off as inauthentic. So does that mean as a marketing advertising agency, you're always having to bring on young people basically to keep it fresh?
Yes, we actually have right now working for JLL 6 different digital media coordinators, and they are responsible for producing the custom content for their properties. The Reels and TikToks, we do shared content across all of the properties, but yes, it definitely does skew younger. They are so talented. They're able to shoot content probably 10 times quicker than myself ever would be able to. They're also great copywriters. It's been interesting over the past 5 or 6 years, the positions that we've been hired for has really shifted as the content on all of these platforms has shifted. I mean, obviously, TikTok, I think, came about in 2016, didn't really gain popularity in 2019. So how we're staffing and hiring has shifted for sure over the past 5 years, just as these social media platforms are evolving and shifting.
One of the interesting things, what I like about Instagram Reels and about TikTok, and I follow, being a retail researcher, I follow a lot of shopping centers. I like the ones where they're visiting a particular store, like the gourmet cheesecake store, where I can actually see what it looks like, and it's really cool. How does it work? So you're producing some stuff that you use at multiple properties, and then other stuff, you've got people on site shooting video?
Yes, we some of the properties do help us providing some extra content, like they're able to go and shoot content locally. That's just kind of on a property by property basis. So that is really nice to be able to add to our media mix. I know, for example, We also have shot Bath and Body Works, and we do feature some retailers in our content that are at lots of our center properties. So Bath and Body Works, this Sephora one, I know we have Sephora at a pretty high representation at our properties, especially since I believe Sephora's in JCPenney, if I'm correct. So that's a great way for us to support JCPenney and our anchor tenant there.
That's cool. So tips and tricks for folks out there who want to create engaging, we'll just say TikTok, but it could be Instagram, engaging video content. It's probably not going to be like this, talking heads, right? This is LinkedIn content. This is YouTube content. What makes TikTok content engaging?
So that is a great question. We actually, for the back to school TikToks that we just ran, we tested several different ad types. TikTok is a newer platform than Facebook, so their ads manager is not quite as advanced as Facebook. It's a little bit more in the infancy stage, which is to be expected. But we tested some lead generation ads on TikTok. Those have been highly successful for us on Facebook. We have generated, hundreds and thousands of email addresses and mobile numbers for our databases on Facebook lead gen ads. I will tell you, so far that has not been successful on TikTok. People, like you said, are coming and just wanting to look at that video content. They're not wanting to supply their email and mobile number, at least not yet. People are really there more for the experience. So what we're feeling like provides the best sort of content is trying to position them all is like, hey, we've got these fun experiences. Come to our property to do your shopping. So we're really right now, I'd say the number one goal and objective for us and reason we're on TikTok is just for brand awareness and to show that the mall is a fun place to come and be and come and shop. So I definitely, for those of you listening that have not played around with TikTok ads yet, they're not very expensive. We ran this test at a handful of properties, and each property, I think we set a budget of like $80 or $100. So we did not put a lot of money behind it in this test. Just the handful of properties that we did with this test and about $80 to $100 each, we were able to reach 81,000 different TikTok user accounts. And we generated, let me see here, 97,000 total impressions. So our total ad spend across all the properties that participated was around $400 or $500. So we were pretty pleased with that. But I definitely would say moving forward, we're planning on using this primarily just for brand awareness.
Yeah, and I think Liz hit on something that's really important, and that's when you're putting your marketing strategy together, you can't go all in on one type of social media. It really is about touching them. Liz talked about the lead gen ads on Facebook. I mean, that goal of that is to grow our databases. So we now have this personal connection with those shoppers. And then, TikTok, as she said, is brand awareness. So I would say to any marketer out there, don't think about, I'm going to be now doing all my marketing on TikTok and that's where we're going to live, because it really is about finding those different touch points. The Facebook user is very different than the Instagram user, than the TikTok. Yes, I'm on all three accounts. You guys are probably on all three accounts as well, but it's connecting differently in different ways. And so the strategy, when the Dealey Group and Liz and I and our team, we sit down and think about, what is our strategy for this promotion? It's really about all those different places, and our goals don't fit on every single channel. So that's the really exciting thing to me about now being able to market this way, is there's just different ways to do it and different ways to connect with consumers.
Awesome. I love it. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what social media content you guys produce next. Like I said, I follow a lot of properties. So weird. Yep, I follow a lot of properties on LinkedIn. Not LinkedIn, I'm sorry, on Instagram. And I'm always checking out their content. So I'll be curious to see what you guys produce next.
Yeah, me too. I can't say I follow too many properties. I typically follow brands more than the actual shopping centers there. But I really love what you guys said about focusing more so on trends in the individual brands, because I think that's a way more timeless approach to producing that content as opposed to which brand is hot right now. So I definitely need to start following some properties apparently to get some inspiration based on these trends.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, you're going to stick around for our next topical item. And it's time for the third thing that we know about retail. So, believe it or not, this morning I went to an art gallery and I took some video while I was there. Let's check this out. It was actually a virtual gallery. It is called The Crypt. It is a virtual NFT art museum that's just opened. So you can virtually walk around on your phone. I did it on my web browser, but you can also, soon you're going to be able to do it on VR as well. And the stuff that's hanging on the walls, a lot of it is for sale as an NFT, which for those who aren't aware, that stands for non-fungible token, which is a unique digital item. It's like a one-of-a-kind digital item, sort of like Bitcoin, but it could be a picture or a video or a song, or really any kind of artwork could be a digital file. And these can be pretty expensive, like as expensive as digital art, or as expensive as physical art. Like I clicked on one of these and I think it was $4,000. I think there was one that was $10,000. And these are digital items. So I'm curious what you guys think of all of this. Do you think that a virtual NFT store is going to replace art galleries, record shops, and collectibles shops?
I mean, I think it's something that's so cool to look at.
Yeah.
But I just think I think we're still a people of touch, feel. We still are we still like possessions and owning things. And I think I think the pandemic sort of has forced us to experience things in a new way virtually. But I think at the end of the day, it's about the product. I mean, replace the art with shoes. We can look at great shoes all day long on the internet, but at the end of the day, we want them on our feet. So I just still think we're a society where those important things, we still want that touch and feel, which is why I think brick and mortar is still incredibly relevant, because that's where you can go and fulfill that need of having that physical thing. The virtual experiences are fun. And, I can fall down the rabbit hole on TikTok watching it with my teenage sons. We just laugh our heads off at what's on there. But if I want something, I still need that physical thing. That's just me personally.
Yeah. So Liz, are you going to buy an NFT of from your favorite artist anytime soon?
No, I don't think so. Not unless JLL wants to fund it. Just kidding. Those are...
Speaking
my
to
thought
existence.
is it's just so expensive right now at this point that I feel like, our average shopper and the average American, can't afford necessarily to add that into their digital collection. I agree with Ashlyn that people do come to the shopping center still for the physical touch and to have that experience. And hey, at the end of the day, I don't want a virtual shot of a pair of shoes that I'd like to buy. I want those pair of shoes in my closet.
I was going to say the exact same thing, Liz. I don't want, some virtual collector shoes or a shirt. I want to be able to wear that shirt to dinner and go out with it. And I think, especially in the case of art, I think the best part about art is being able to hang it up in your house or somewhere and having people come and say, oh, wow. And talking about it. And I imagine like if I had to pull my phone out and say, hey, look at this really cool virtual art that I bought, the other week, like it's just not going to have the same impact. The thing I'm thinking is like those TVs that like act as art, where it's like the screensaver is art. Like maybe that would be a cool place to display something like that. But those are really expensive, right? So you have to buy that really expensive piece of equipment on top of the really expensive piece of art. Whereas I think it's just cool to have it hanging in your house. So I hate to sound, anti-future because I've heard a lot about NFTs, but I can't imagine what I would do with something like that.
Well, it's interesting because the NFT seems almost like it's its own collector type people, right? Like you have people that want to go to the trade shows and spend $2 or $3 million on a 1960s car, and to me, it's kind of like it's got its own collector type society that's very interested in it right now. And it's very relevant for them. And that's who I see right now is kind of drawn to it. So I do think it'll be interesting over the next 5 to 10 years. Is there more does there become a more affordable version of NFT, and what does that look like, not just in the shopping center industry, but in industries in general?
Yeah. I went 2 weeks ago, I went to the National Gallery in Washington, D.C. And, just physically being in that space, and, there's like, Andy Warhol that's, so huge, and like, it's amazing. It's awe-inspiring. When I look at something on my screen, it's just not, it doesn't inspire me,
Not the same way.
I think that the mistake is trying to recreate the physical experience in the digital world. I think there's a new experience that has yet to be discovered, that will be a cool art thing that it's not trying to mimic an art gallery. I think that's where that might be kind of the cool future of digital art for me, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So guys, eBerry, what time is it?
James, it is time for the retail challenge. So ordinarily I would be participating in the challenge, but this time I'm going to lead it. So it's going to be you three battling against each other, and it's very competitive. So I hope you guys are ready for this.
This is serious stuff.
Yeah, real serious stuff. We have
Is there a
3
cool
questions.
prize?
You know, there should be.
It's an NFT of my hat. So it's a digital hat.
Perfect.
Which we keep every week. We're like, we got to do a prize, and then
Week.
another week goes by and we don't figure it
We
out.
need like a what we know in retail coffee mug or something.
Right?
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
We should work on that. That's a great idea, actually. So let's say that's the prize. We'll work on getting it to you, but
Yeah.
We'll design it. We'll design it.
yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna ask you guys.
We'll create it. Yeah.
So there's going to be, eBerry, are we doing 3 questions?
We got 3 questions,
And you get a point for each right question, and whoever gets the most points wins. Folks who are watching live, you're welcome to type in your own answers in the chat, and who's ever first to answer in the chat, you can be our virtual winner.
There you go, for your NFT coffee mug.
Right.
So let's get started. So the first question I have is on brands that have the largest following on TikTok, right?
Oh.
Obviously we've talked about, TikTok as an avenue for, promoting your brand, and in a lot of cases for selling products and things like that. And so I'm curious if you guys can guess which of these 3 brands is the most followed on TikTok. Now, this is coming from Statista, right? This information is as of February 2021, so 7 months ago. It's a little bit outdated. I am asking for retail brands. There are other brands on there. I'll show you a graph after, but just for retail brands, like places that sell things, right? So is it A, Chipotle, B, Shein, which is a fast fashion company, or C, Red Bull? What do we think?
Wow.
I'm going to guess Shein.
Okay.
And I think because of the age demographic that's on TikTok, I'm going to say Red Bull.
Interesting.
I'm also going to say B. I thought it was pronounced Sheen, but maybe you've taught me something today.
I Googled it right before this.
Okay, so it's Shein.
It's Shein.
I'm going to guess
I
B.
have no idea. Someone said Shine today. Someone said Shein, but it's Shein apparently. So the answer is actually C, Red Bull.
All right.
So shout out to Ashlyn.
So Ashlyn wins. Folks who are playing at home right now, Noel said, "Got to go Red Bull." Let's see. Kim said Chipotle, and Melanie said Red Bull. So you guys are all smarter than me.
Yeah. I guess this is the thing. So this is the graph that I got from Statista. It's a little bit small, but if you can see, Red Bull occupies, for the most followed brand is the Guinness Book of World Records, which is very interesting. Yeah, according to this graph, I was like, I know you guys are, social media experts, so I didn't want to be wrong, but Statista says Guinness Book of World Records has the highest following at 11.3 million followers. But then Red Bull is second at 5.2, but they also have Red Bull Australia, Red Bull España, Red Bull Italia, and Red Bull Latino. So I think when you add all of those together, they are far and away the most popular brand. And then if you see Shein is down here at 1.4 million, and then Chipotle at 1.4 million as well. And these other brands that are in between, Roblox, Fortnite, those are like games, right? Gymshark, Xbox. So I didn't want to count those. San Diego Zoo is very popular, clearly. But as for retail, brands on TikTok, Red Bull is the most popular. So great job,
right.
Ashlyn. Yeah.
So after one round, Ashlyn's got a point, and folks who are playing online, Noel has got a point, and Melanie has a point. All right, let's go to our next one.
All right. So the second question, I wish I had pictures to show you for this, but let's have to go off of my voice. But so I wanted to know if you guys could guess who is the most expensive Instagram influencer by average cost of post, right? So obviously you'll send an influencer some clothes or some item, and then they'll post it on their store, on their page, and obviously they charge money for that. So who is the most expensive Instagram influencer? Is it A, Kylie Jenner, B, The Rock, or C, Selena Gomez?
Huh.
Oh.
I'm going to guess A because I thought that even before you listed it, the multiple choice. So I'll go with Kylie Jenner.
Yeah.
That's a great choice.
I'm going to go with Kylie Jenner as well. Although personally, I really enjoy The Rock. His posts on TikTok are pretty solid.
Interesting. And I think I'm going to go because I feel like the Kardashians really rep their own products so much. I'm going to go with The Rock.
All right.
Ashlyn is just on fire.
What?
Because it is The Rock. I was shocked to see this as well. I would have guessed Kylie Jenner and then Kim and then Kendall and then whoever else, right? But apparently The Rock charges on average $1.015 million per post on Instagram.
Oh my
makes him the
gosh.
most expensive Instagram influencer, which is crazy. But again, he has a gigantic following, so I guess it makes sense. But the fact that he's beating out Noel was there.
Noel was there. Kimberly was with me and said Kylie. Alexis had The Rock. Melanie had The Rock. Kate was wrong like me, and Megan had The Rock. So it seems like it was kind of a split there between The Rock and Kylie.
No love for Selena, I guess, even though she has a lot of followers too. So
yeah.
Okay, and so for the last question, here we have the countries that have the highest Instagram audience reach, right? So this is the percentage of the population that is on Instagram, right? Do we think it is A, Iceland, B, Kazakhstan, or C, United States?
All right. I'm thinking out loud here. I think it's between Iceland and the US.
Mm-hmm.
My feeling is Iceland, the whole population is only like 3 million people or something, right? So it's like, and they're kind of I think of them as an advanced, I don't know. I'm talking out of my behind here. I'm going with Iceland just because.
Fair enough. Liz, Ashlyn, what do you guys think?
I have no idea, which you would think I would know this with all the stats that we look up.
And we're thinking of the percentage of the population, so it's not necessarily population.
No, the percentage of the population.
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Kazakhstan, just for the fun of it.
Okay, then I'll say the U.S. So we all three have a different answer.
Okay. All right.
Listen,
what do we got?
I don't think this has ever happened, but we have a unanimous retail challenge winner in Ashlyn. So I don't think we've ever seen anyone get 3 out of 3 every time.
You got 0 out of 3.
Wait, I lost track. Which country did you have?
I said Kazakhstan.
Oh my God. Do you know what percentage it is?
78.7% apparently of the population is on Instagram. And the next highest is Brunei with 70.5%, Turkey at 68.4%, Iceland at 66.5%, and then Sweden also at 66.5%. The US isn't even in the top 5.
Wow. Our folks playing along at home, Noel had the US, Melanie had the U.S.
Wow.
Kimberly had the U.S. and Alexis had the U.S. So we're all wrong.
Yeah. I would have guessed the same thing too. Honestly, I would have guessed the U.S. as well. But from what
Way
I
to
saw
go,
online,
Ashlyn. Way to go, Ashlyn.
Ashlyn, you killed it. You're the unanimous retail challenge winner, 3 out of 3. The coffee mug that you will design is going to be in your mail.
Yeah, right.
As soon as I order it.
You order.
So I had 0 points. Liz, did you have any points?
No, 0.
Oh, so you killed it.
Has
Ashlyn
this
had
ever
3.
happened?
I don't think so. And I'm usually the Alex Trebek, and eBay usually plays. So I'm not used to being such a monumental loser.
It's rough. I've lost a couple myself, but
yeah. I should say, for folks playing at home, I think Noel got the most. I think he got 2 out of 3. I'm sorry if somebody else did. I sort of lost track.
I think Mel did too.
Oh, good job, Mel.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you guys are awesome.
Yep.
I love that we have people playing along. I need to like keep better track of who has what points as we get more people playing along at home. It gets tougher to keep track of. So guys, now that you know the truth about Kazakhstan and social media, do you think that the Dealey Group is going to open up an office in that country?
I don't know. I think that Canada might be next for us.
Oh, that's right. Interesting.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that on next week's show. Noel is excited about getting his NFT mug. Yeah. Yes, it will be just as physically real as an NFT. Noel. So Liz and Ashlyn, thanks again so much for joining us. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
thanks for having us. A lot of fun.
And we'll certainly have you back again sometime soon. So eBerry, I just wanted to remind everybody to check out our podcast. This is an audio show called Where We Buy. This week's episode is going to be cool. This comes out tomorrow. So I interviewed the creator of the TV show Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. He's just written a book called Food Americana, and we talk all about all the different types of Americanized food, like Mexican American, Chinese American, and the different chains that have sprouted up and the different trends. It's one of the more interesting podcasts I think we've ever recorded, and you definitely want to check it out. Subscribe to Where We Buy on whatever podcast app you use, or you can check us out on wherewebuy.show.
Yes, and you can also be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and click on the little bell icon so that you're notified when new shows come out every single week without having to look for it. They'll just give you the notification. It's real easy. Alternatively, you could also follow the JLL retail page on LinkedIn and check out new episodes every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern at everythingweknow.show.
Awesome. And I'm so excited about all the people who've been following along as we go live. And then there's so many more people who watch the replay later and the clips. I'm starting to feel some Everything We Know momentum out there, people. So tell your friends, tell your family. I got to tell my family. My dad was watching for a while. I think he lost track. I think
we got to get him back. Yeah. No. Whatever topic would interest him, we'll do that next week to make sure he comes back.
Well, he's a big fan of Red Robin. Yes, he's a big fan of that burger place, Red Robin.
Yum, right?
Yeah. So we'll do a big expose on that. So anyway, eBerry, what else do you know about retail?
James, you ask me this every time, and I have to tell you next week.